Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to tackle a topic that's as relevant as it is complex: business ethics. I mean, we all want to work for and patronize businesses that act ethically, right? But what does that actually look like? Over the course of this video, we'll unpack what it means for a business to operate ethically, exploring things like corporate social responsibility, how to navigate ethical dilemmas, why transparency matters, and a whole lot more. So buckle up, let's dive in. What do we mean by business ethics? It's about applying moral principles to business operations, doing the right thing even when it's tough. Honesty, fairness, integrity, and respect. These values guide everything a business does. Ethics are crucial for long-term success. Let's talk about corporate social responsibility, or CSR. Businesses have a responsibility to society, not just shareholders. CSR includes environmental sustainability, ethical sourcing, and fair labor practices. It's about integrating ethics into every aspect of operations. Consumers demand businesses take a stand on social issues. Supporting companies that align with their values is just good business sense. Okay, so we've established that business ethics is important. But how do we actually make ethical decisions in the real world, especially when things get complicated? Well, unfortunately there's no magic formula, but there are frameworks we can use to guide our thinking. One common approach is to consider the stakeholders who might be affected by a decision. Think about your employees, your customers, your suppliers, the community, and the environment. Ask yourself how your decision will impact each of these groups. Another helpful tool is the classic sniff test. If a decision feels wrong in your gut, it probably is. Trust your instincts and don't be afraid to seek out a second opinion. Remember, ethical dilemmas are rarely clear-cut. There's often no easy answer, and you might have to make some tough calls. The important thing is to have a process in place for approaching these challenges thoughtfully and transparently. Let's talk about two biggies in the world of business ethics: integrity and transparency. These concepts are foundational to building trust with stakeholders and creating a culture of ethical behavior. Integrity is all about doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. It's about being honest, ethical, and consistent in your actions, even when it's difficult. Transparency, on the other hand, is about being open and upfront about your decisions and actions. It's about communicating clearly and honestly with stakeholders, even when the news isn't all rosy. When businesses operate with integrity and transparency, they create a culture of accountability. Employees are more likely to act ethically when they know that the company is committed to doing the right thing. Plus, transparency builds trust with customers, investors, and the public, which can lead to a stronger reputation and ultimately, greater success. Now let's delve into a concept called stakeholder theory. This theory argues that businesses have a responsibility not just to their shareholders, but to all stakeholders who are impacted by their actions. This includes employees, customers, suppliers, investors, the community, and even the environment. In essence, stakeholder theory challenges the traditional view that a company's sole purpose is to maximize shareholder profit. Instead, it suggests that businesses should consider the interests of all stakeholders when making decisions. This means finding ways to create value for all parties involved, not just those at the top. Now, putting stakeholder theory into practice can be challenging, as different stakeholders often have competing interests. But it's about finding a balance, seeking to create win-win situations whenever possible. Ultimately, stakeholder theory is about recognizing that a company's success is interconnected with the well-being of its stakeholders. Let's be real, sometimes businesses need a little nudge in the right direction. That's where compliance and regulation come in. Governments and regulatory bodies establish rules and regulations to ensure that businesses operate ethically and responsibly. We're talking about things like labor laws, environmental regulations, consumer protection laws, and anti-corruption measures. Now I know what you're thinking. Rules and regulations, that sounds boring. But here's the thing, these frameworks are essential for creating a level playing field and preventing businesses from engaging in harmful practices. Compliance isn't just about avoiding legal trouble, although that's certainly a bonus. It's about ensuring that businesses are operating in a way that is fair, ethical, and beneficial to society as a whole. Think of it this way: regulations are like the guardrails on a highway. They might not be the most exciting part of the journey, but they keep us from veering off course and causing harm. Okay, so what happens when businesses don't follow the rules or when they engage in unethical behavior? Well, that's where whistleblowers come in. Whistleblowing is when an individual, often an employee, exposes illegal or unethical activities within an organization. This can be a risky proposition, as whistleblowers often face retaliation from their employers, but it's incredibly important because it allows us to hold businesses accountable for their actions and to prevent further harm. Whistleblowers play a crucial role in exposing everything from financial fraud and environmental violations to unsafe working conditions and human rights abuses. Protecting whistleblowers is paramount. They're the ones taking on personal risk to ensure that justice is served. That's why many countries have laws in place to protect whistleblowers from retaliation. Ultimately, whistleblowing is a testament to the power of individual action and the importance of speaking truth to power, even when it's difficult. In today's interconnected world, businesses often operate across borders and cultures. This brings a whole new layer of complexity to business ethics, as what's considered ethical in one culture might not be in another. Cultural sensitivity is key. It's about understanding and respecting different cultural norms, values, and beliefs. This includes being mindful of things like communication styles, business etiquette, and religious practices. Global ethics also requires businesses to consider the impact of their actions on a global scale. We're talking about things like fair labor practices in developing countries, environmental sustainability across supply chains, and respecting human rights in all of their operations. Navigating these complexities can be challenging, but it's essential for businesses that want to operate ethically in a globalized world. It's about finding a balance between respecting cultural differences and upholding universal ethical principles. Let's talk about sustainability, which is all about meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. In a business context, sustainability means taking into account the environmental and social impacts of a company's operations. This includes things like reducing carbon emissions, conserving water, minimizing waste, and sourcing materials responsibly. Now, some people argue that sustainability is at odds with profitability, but that's becoming an increasingly outdated view. In fact, there's a growing body of evidence that suggests that sustainable business practices can actually boost profits. Consumers are becoming more environmentally conscious, and they're choosing to support businesses that align with their values. Ultimately, sustainability is not just about being a good corporate citizen, it's about ensuring the long-term viability of both the planet and the businesses that operate on it. Technology is rapidly changing the way businesses operate, and with these advancements come a whole host of new ethical considerations. We're talking about things like data privacy, artificial intelligence, automation, and the impact of technology on the workforce. For example, as businesses collect vast amounts of data on their customers, it's crucial to handle that data responsibly and transparently. Consumers are increasingly concerned about their privacy, and they want to know that their data is being used ethically. Then there's artificial intelligence, which is transforming industries from healthcare to finance. As we develop increasingly sophisticated AI systems, we need to ensure that these technologies are developed and used in a way that aligns with our values and doesn't perpetuate existing biases. The ethical implications of technology are far-reaching, and it's an ongoing conversation that we need to have as we continue to innovate and develop new technologies. How do we create a culture of ethical behavior within a company? It starts at the top. Leaders must embody ethical behavior and prioritize ethics. Create a code of conduct and integrate it into the culture. Use training, communication, and reinforcement. Foster a speak-up culture. Protect whistleblowers and establish reporting channels. The payoff is a more ethical, sustainable, and successful business. That was a lot to cover, but hopefully this video gave you a solid foundation for understanding the complexities of business ethics. And remember, it's not just about memorizing a bunch of rules or frameworks, it's about cultivating a mindset, a commitment to doing the right thing, even when it's hard. Because at the end of the day, business ethics is about more than just profits. It's about building a better, more just, and more sustainable world. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more videos on business, ethics, and all sorts of other thought-provoking stuff.